Content warning. The following show contains tobacco smoking, potty mouth language, discussions of fictitious violence, other discussions of uncomfortable social situations, and I guess you could say a really angry person. Yeah, that could be it. That's the whole thing. Either way, um, if you a kid, cover your ears sometimes, and everybody else, viewer discretion still advised. Hey everybody, what is going on out there? All right, this is Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And welcome to the dark side of the room. This is the show where we talk about life and other stuff. So, I am really happy, and I mean this, I'm really happy that stuff is here, and yeah, I'm really happy that folks are doing the thing. um, so welcome again, all that stuff. We have a show for you today. All right, we are going to be talking about some stuff, but it's a little weird because right now doesn't look like the chat is working. So what I'm gonna do, well, I can see the chat, but y'all can't see it right here. You should be able to see that right there. But yeah, it's not doing its chat thing. So I'm gonna turn it off and then turn it back on. But that's okay. Some of this stuff is gonna be going to other platforms anyway. So yeah, that's the whole thing. But like I said, welcome. I am so happy that you guys are here. I'm glad y'all got the announcements and all that stuff. We have a show for you today. We are going to be talking about a certain trailer about, swimming pools and certain hop trains and all that stuff that's coming about. So that is going to be fun. We're also going to be talking about finding your voice, and we actually have a Patreon sponsored segment, okay, from, I'm going to call this one The Decker in the Dark. Oh man, Neon Arlecchino was already on it with the Discord invite. Thank you so much. And hello to my regular Deckers out there, all you people talking to me here on the YouTubes, all the people talking to me here on the Twitch. Thank you guys so much for being here, so much. Telling you, man, the more interaction that I'm getting from people, the more work I'm ending up having to do. It is so funny. Now, if you guys want to interact with the show and all that stuff, you can actually leave a comment right there. I'll probably get to it when I run a commercial and all that jazz. And I'm introducing another way. However, with all that being said, when I'm not on the air, you can hit me up with an email. I don't mean like that because yeah. Ooh, wait, what do we got there? Okay, let me just that's right. Yeah. What do we got? Oh yeah, you can hit me up by pulling up your email and all that jazz and sending me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also hit me up on my Twitter, on my Instagram, on my TikTok. Just do a screen cap. Y'all know how all that stuff works. Nobody is new to the internet, and those are the social medias. Now, if you guys really have a question, okay, really have a question, really want me to cover a topic or something during the show, this is what we are gonna do. All right, because this is a new thing, presented by Deckers in the by the Decker in the Dark. So I'm putting up the donation button. All right, the donation button right there. And when our donations hit the $20 mark, I will cover that particular thing in the show. All right, this is your way to directly do the thing when it happens. All right, I've got the donation tracker sitting up here. My boy Cam is like, all right, I will be in contact with you for the show, and we will do all of that stuff. So that is the new thing. I'm going, but send me an email and all that stuff. So that way we can do the thing. So, man, we got a lot of stuff to cover. Now, there has been so much complaining over the past, God, I don't know, let's call it 2 years, over the past 2 years about movies and stuff. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, I'm about to turn 47 years old. Okay, I am an old man. I'm like, oh, my back is going, and I think I'm gonna yell at a character that came out in a video game when I was young. So call it, old man yells at cloud or whatever. But I've heard a lot of complaining over the past few years about the state of superhero movies. Like, so many people are like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe should have ended at Endgame. They haven't done anything good, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just kind of going, I've seen franchises come and go. I've seen different eras of franchising. Understand, guys. Okay, real talk. Okay, this is serious real talk. I'm 13 days older than Star Wars. Okay? Seriously, 13 days older than Star Wars as a property. Okay, what does that mean? That means I was the crying baby in A New Hope. That was me. When you went to the movie theater, when you went to the movie theater in 77 in LA or Watts or Compton, that was me crying in there. Okay? That was me. However, I was 2 years old watching Empire Strikes Back. I was there. That was one of the first movies I ever saw. Okay? And a lot like you guys, I was in my 20s when the prequels came out. All right? When the prequels hit, I was like 23, 24, depending on if they came out in 99 or 2000. And God, do I remember the outrage. Again, I saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters. And back in my day, we had these things called VHS video cassettes. And it was the first time you could own a movie as a regular person. And by regular, I mean like not a rich person with a whole theater with one of them projection things on and not being friends with George Lucas or Steven Spielberg. So when the VCR came out, I had my copy of Return of the Jedi and, of the Star Wars stuff going. And I would watch the fight between Luke and Vader over and over and over again to learn how to win a fight by throwing shade. If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, just poke at him. Watch it over again because the Emperor throwing lightning sounded just like my mom when she used to beat me with a belt and switches and sandals and shoes and jump ropes and electrical cords. But yeah, that whole, I'm going to do some violence. Now I'm going to talk to you. Now I'm going to do a little bit more violence, because you will pay the price for your lack of vision. I was like all there. All right. And then when the prequels came out, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm geeked and blah 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 blah. And then they came out, and I'm like, what the, huh? What, huh? Like, did this? No, this isn't what I want. Why Qui Gon die so quick? What's up with this Darth Maul guy? Gets cut in half in the first. What the? What? That was me. And if I heard the word yippee one more time, I was ready to punch somebody. All right, I'm just being real with you guys. All right. Um, and then time moved forward. Time moved forward, and all that stuff happened. And God, where was I? I was living in the city of Bellflower, and I knew people who were in college at that time. And those people, this was, God, like 17, 18 years later, you know. Um, and I was living in Bellflower, which is a suburb of Long Beach, but don't tell anybody from Bellflower that, because they'll knife you. And sure enough, I met a lot of college kids that swore by the Hayden Christensen movies because that was where their anchoring bias took place. They saw it as a kid. They were like, "Oh my God, then I'm gonna do the jet, and I gotta you know." And I saw the I saw the second one in theaters, and I'm just like, I don't care. What is he talking about as far as sand goes? And wanted to see the third one, but I was in the wrong geographic area, and I pretty much just walked out of the movie because the crowd that I was there with allowed a person that was in the group to treat me like absolute garbage. And here's my big thing. If one of your friends has a friend, then you treat that friend with respect out of respect for your friend's judgment. Okay? However, if your friend starts treating another one of your friends like crap, then you be like, "Hey man, what's up with that?" You know? So yeah, I left. I left. I didn't see it in the theaters. Okay. But I saw it later on, and I'm just like, don't care. Um, you know, especially since Lord of the Rings was in its cycle at that time. So I'm like, yeah, there was no way that Star Wars was going to look good compared to Lord of the Rings at the time. It was just unfair. But I'm saying all this to say the point of properties, movies, genres, they have ebbs and flows. They move with genres. They go up, they go down, they go stabilized sometimes. But that's just kind of how it goes. That really is. Not every James Bond movie is a banger, guys. I'm sorry to tell you, not every Nightmare on Elm Street movie is a banger. The more movies there are in a franchise, the higher, um, the higher the chance of putting out duds are. Okay. Um, I see where you're going with that, Neon. The prequel trilogy looks pretty gold in comparison to the Hobbit trilogies, but truth be told, I still like the Hobbit trilogy better. I do. It's got problems. Boy, does it got problems. But yeah, I've seen worse. I really have seen worse. And as soon as I find it, we're having a watch party of Exterminator City. Okay, I will show you some bad stuff. Um, ooh, a fish meme. I have no idea what that means, dude. My meme ease game is just not there. I don't know what that means. Um, However, the stuff I've been hearing about with the Marvel movie franchise, um, yeah, dude, guys, the stuff hit the scene in 2008. Okay, 2008. It is now time of recording, time of stream, 2024. 24. Okay, that means it's been 14 years of these movies. 14. What does that mean? That means the toddlers that were running around during Iron Man 1 can legally drive in the state of California. Okay? That means the first graders that were running around wanting to see Iron Man and cosplaying Iron Man in the movie theaters are now halfway through college. Okay? It has been a lot of time, years, and movies. Okay? And again, the more movies you put in a franchise, the higher chances it's going to be that you're going to put out some bad ones. There was an old saying in the music industry: your first record takes 10 years, your second record takes 10 months. All right. Um, that's just how it goes. That's it. That's the thing. The more time between movies, especially with the same crew, yeah, the higher the quality each installment is gonna be. All right. Um, what? Yeah. Okay. So we got somebody in the chat saying, "I'm shocked you dislike any of the Elm Street movies." I didn't say I disliked them. I said some of them were not bangers. There's a difference. Okay. Nightmare 1, genuinely scary. Nightmare 2 was totally confused because I didn't know to look at it through the lens of LGBTQ. Okay. Nightmare 3, masterpiece. Nightmare 4, what? Oh well, you know what? It's got some good moments. Nightmare 5, The Dream Child. Okay, now we're getting a little silly. All right. New Nightmare. I'm glad Wes is back. The reboot with Rorschach. You know what? I respect it for trying to be scary. Okay? Seriously. Um so yeah, I mean, real talk, all of that stuff. Yeah, thank you. Is good and I like are separate scales. Thank you, Carthulu. As I said, I'm gonna find Exterminator City, and then you guys will know the meaning of grind and steel. It's not good, but it's no, it's not good. So anyhow, what I'm getting at here is a lot of people really hate every Marvel movie that happened after Endgame, except for one or two. And the fact of the matter is, I kind of like all of them. I like all of them. I see what they're trying to do. One of them was kind of boring for me, but outside of that, I mean, that's the thing. I genuinely like the Ant Man franchise. I don't know if it's because they're just nice and light. I don't know if it's because Paul Rudd made a deal with some cyclopean horror to make him pleasant to watch all over the place. It's just like, wow, Paul Rudd is reading the phone book and I'm just kind of intrigued. Don't know. Really don't know. And don't particularly care. I enjoy them. There we go. That's enough for me. But with all that being said, I was gonna pull out my guitar and make a parody song and try and go viral on TikTok because I've been sad lately thinking about the Marvel films. You know, but you know what? I might still do that later. I just, a lot of the songs that I like are hard to play. But what I will say is this. Um Today I did a small 1 minute commentary over on Nerd Soul. Go check him out, NERDSOUL, on YouTube. And now I want to sit here with you guys. Yes, I want to sit here with you. And I want, that's right, my friends. I just, at this particular moment, um, I would like, if I may, to take you on a straight, no, I would like, if I may, all right, um, to have a moment with you. Okay? Yeah, I just want to have a moment with you. So we're gonna do this because I don't do this very often. All right, I don't do this very often, but we gonna do this today. All right. So something dropped this morning that I want, and I really want to watch it with you guys. Now, granted, I've watched this, so this isn't really a reaction. However, I hadn't had my coffee yet when I did, so let's really take a really good look. I know, all these pauses, it's driving you guys nuts. I'm such a troll. But let's take a look at the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. That's right. I'm not burying the lead. And I'm not being like the news saying, hey, we're going to talk about this and then wait till the end of the show. So let's take a look. Let me just head down to the viewing station of the Wizard's Tower. Hey, look at that. Let's take a look.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now.
Look, lady, I'm not interested.
All right, well, I'm sort of on the tick, so upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want this.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider.
I wonder if it's rated R. Okay, that looks good.
I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
Come again.
This Wolverine let down his
You want to
entire
fight? Them's
world.
fighting words. Ooh, God. Oh, right in the short and curly.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
Okay, so it looks like we've got every Wolverine catch song.
I don't know anything about saving worlds, but you do.
All right, no cap. This
Trust
is
me,
my
kid, I'm no
favorite
hero.
song from Madonna.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
Lee Fields, Just Feet. Oh my God.
Soaking
Oh my
wet
God.
right
They're
now.
just calling it. Oh, dude. Ah. Why, is that Cassandra Nova?
Boys are so silly.
That is.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching
They
powder?
know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even Forrest Bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes. I can't.
You know what? LFG, guys. LFG. Yeah, that, you know what? Like, I'm normally not the guy to be like, hey, let's get edgy for
Deadpool
edgy
and
and all
Wolverine.
that stuff. But you know what? I'm not mad. I am not mad. This looks like a really, really, really good finale to a trilogy. Okay, I really dig that. Again, I didn't. There was again that was genuine laughter from me with the whole Lee Fields or Liefeld's only feet. It's actually kind of funny because man, yeah, the whole feet and wrist thing from Rob Liefeld. Yeah, I've met the guy quite a few times because I'm here in Southern California. I worked at a comic book store, and I go to all of the, I go to San Diego Comic Con. I go to WonderCon when I can, and he's always at those places. And yeah, you know what? I would say relax on Liefield's art. He was 14 at the time, but no, he's doing okay. And he doesn't care that you're making fun of him because the more people talk about Liefeld's art style, the bigger his bank account gets. I mean, that's just really what it is. So yeah. Oh man, it brings us closer to the Spawn and Howard the Duck movie. You know what? Maybe McFarlane would be down with that. I don't know. But what I have to say about that trailer is it was a brilliant piece of marketing. Just brilliant, okay? Because they even got their own hashtag, LFG. Let's go, all right? I'm going to put this out there. When the first Deadpool movie hit, I was not a big reader of the Deadpool books because most of the fan base gets on my nerves. I'm sorry to say. Look, I'm sorry to say, and I don't want y'all to feel attacked or anything like this, but here's the thing. I am passionate about comic books and heroes and idealism. I like aspirational stories and aspirational heroes. I am just, yeah, I am so there. Um, I am 100% like people being good for the sake of being good. Um, Back when I was growing up, comic books were more, I guess you can say, more integral to children finding a moral center than even church. Okay, because church, at least the churches that I was at, always told ya that it don't matter what you do, it don't matter what you feel in your heart, it does not matter who you help, you still gotta give your heart to Jesus and put money in the collection plate. And I never liked that. All right, I never ever dug that. We'll get to that in the second segment of the show. Okay, but so the whole idea of comic books when I was growing up, I was the kid saying, "What would Captain Marvel do? What would Superman do? You know, um, how did Spider-Man get through feeling what I'm feeling? You know, that kind of thing. That's where I was. Um, yeah, you're right, Neon. Barry can walk on water, and Zatanna can do just about everything else. But when it comes down to it, that's where I was. Like, um, I tend to think of myself as kind of morally ambiguous because I'm an adult in the 21st century. And I'm poor. I'm just putting it out there. I am destitute. You know, I am what's called house poor, meaning I can barely make my mortgage and I can't really afford anything else. So there's that. All right. Um, so when I look at heroes, when I look at the people that are out there trying to help people, especially ones that are in terrible circumstances, like Luke Cage, like Spider Man, um, that's big. And then I look at the really powerful heroes that I like Barry Allen, like Superman, who have enough power to make the world behave. Hey, Malcolm, what's going on? Um, and they use their power to protect humanity and let humanity actually learn how to be good. That's big to me. Growing up with so many bullies, both in my home and outside of my home, with the idea that I'm stronger, so you will be who I make you be, always got on my nerves. Okay. But a lot of people, a lot of Deadpool fans, and y'all know which ones I'm talking about, okay? We're always like, yeah, he's irreverent. He's this. I'm like, dude, he's kind of a bad guy, you know? Um, Not just because he murders all the time, you know, but most of the people that talked about Deadpool liked him because he killed people. Because some people out there just deserve to die. And I know I'm a wizard, but I'm still, yeah, many out there deserve to die, but a lot of people who died deserve to live. Can you give that to them? Can you bring the people who didn't deserve to die back to life? You know? So that's a big thing. That's always been a big thing for me. However, when I looked into Deadpool and all that stuff, I saw the angle of a soldier of fortune that went through all this terrible stuff who wants to be better, he just can't learn how. Like people tell him to be better, but they don't really understand the circumstances and stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I get that. Kind of like parodied the parodied version of Wolverine, although that's Lobo, without much of a redemption arc. And a lot of writers have been putting him on that redemption arc, and I really do like the evolution of the stories, even with all the retcons. Okay, I'm kind of there. Then I saw the first movie, and I'm like, okay, if this is what Deadpool fans see, I can see why they like them. I wish they would shut up about how what I like sucks because it's not Deadpool, but one step at a time. So I saw the first movie and I'm like, you know what? That was actually pretty enjoyable. I don't know if it's the character or Ryan Reynolds or if we're looking at a um, Professor X situation with Deadpool, meaning Patrick Stewart was the one and only casting choice for Professor X in the original X-Men movies, and Ryan Reynolds should not have been the Green Lantern. He should have been Deadpool. End of story. Like he should never play any other superhero, period. He cannot because he is Deadpool. Um, yeah, just that kind of thing. Um, Hang on, guys. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie. And then part two came out, and I'm like, they can't do this twice. And when I saw the movie, I'm like, this was pretty much as good as the first one. Then I watched it again and watched a couple of reaction videos to Deadpool 2 from people that saw stuff about it that I didn't. And I'm like, you know what? I think I like the second one better than the first one. Not to say that Deadpool 2 was like The Godfather 2, but okay, it's not as good as The Godfather 2. Let me just put that out there right now. But it is similar in the fact that I liked it better. And so with this third one, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of with that. And then I started thinking back on Ryan Reynolds. Um and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not saying he was born to play Deadpool, but real talk, he's been practicing at it for a long, long, long time. Okay, a long time. We're talking about from Van Wilder to Waiting to the proposal to um Best Friends um to Blade 2. Just you know what? Yeah. He has been working on being this character longer than Chris Evans worked on being Captain America. And you know what? I'm really hoping against hope that we get a Chris Evans crossover with this movie as well because Deadpool loves Captain America. And Captain America believes in Deadpool, but he's very much like Colossus on that. And it would be kind of nice to have Colossus get a little backup from Cap. That would be kind of cool. But that's just me. I don't know. It's a Disney movie, so Disney might shell out the money to get a cameo from Chris Evans. We don't know. But I'm looking at this movie, and I do have one problem with the trailer, and that is the actress playing Cassandra Nova is really attractive. um, so what does this mean? This is me going, well, actually, in the comics, all right? So I'm just, of course you would, Neon. I hope Chris Evans shows up as the Human Torch. He might. This is the Fox crossover. But, so I'm going to put this out here, okay? Because Cassandra Nova in the comics looks a lot, and I mean a lot different, okay? A lot different. I'm talking, this is Cassandra Nova as drawn by Joe Quigley, all right? This is what she looked like in the book. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, because the character herself is Charles Xavier's twin sister. All right. So she's as old as good old Professor X. And don't get me wrong, Professor X looks good for his age and all that stuff. But hang on, let me just Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he looks good for his age in in the comics and stuff. I ain't gonna lie. All right. However, hang on. I almost had it. There we go. But he don't look this good. I'm like, oh, hey, girl. How you doing? Got that Sinead O'Connor look about you. That's kind of, I can, yeah, I can rock with a Baldwin. I saw Pirates of the Caribbean Part 4 or 5. Yeah, I can rock with this. You know, um, so the fact of the matter is that I get it. I do, because it is very much a movie, which means it's got to make its money and all of that jazz. So yeah, I get it. I get it. But looking beyond that little nitpick, I can deal. I can deal. I'm very much looking forward to this movie. So I'll be there in July. Am I gonna go to a midnight screening of it to be there with everybody? No, no. That was when I was in my 20s, and yeah, I don't want to be out in the cold during the summer nights going. Yeah, nah, I'm not with that. I'm definitely not with that. But I am very, very hyped about this. I was literally trying to learn or remember this morning how to play Peace Train um, from Cat Stevens, because I came up with joke lyrics and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm all on the hype train. Deadpool, 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 Deadpool and Wolverine. Now I've been crying lately, thinking about the flicks to come. Yeah, I am all there. I am all there. I'm looking forward to it. Will I be there? Yes. Will I pay full price? I don't know. I'm poor. Hopefully, it'll be in a $2 theater. But yeah, I'm doing that. So I will be right back, and then we're gonna get on to our second segment. All right. But yeah, so far this is really looking like a full house type thing. Um, yeah. So yeah. But I'll be right back, guys. Um, and yeah, I got to make a really quick run into huh? Oh, yeah, got to make a really quick run um into another part of the Wizard's Tower, and just grabbing a little bit of coffee creamer cuz I forgot to bring the stuff out. So I'll be back in just a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, and we have returned. Oh my god. So, yep, and if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please use Jeff Bezos' money and use your Amazon Prime Gaming thing to subscribe to the channel, okay? Cuz yeah, we're talking about some stuff. So, let us get on to our next segment. Now, this next segment is a big one for me. Okay, and I mean that. It's a very, very big one for me. Um, what it comes down to, y'all, is finding your voice. All right, finding your voice. Now, y'all know I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been kind of breaking the rule of finding your voice. Okay, when I started this channel, I wanted to, one, make a place for all of us to be able to congregate and hang out, all that other stuff. And been trying to keep it family friendly. Really, really trying to keep it family friendly. Then I found out that smoking on camera isn't family friendly. And I'm like, well, you know what? If I'm going to do that, fine, but I'll keep the potty mouth language down. And I was trying to not talk about political stuff, because I don't want to be mixed up as yet another angry black dude on the internet. All right. But one, I haven't been able to get any traction with subscribers and things like that. I'm pretty sure, okay, pretty sure that yeah, I'm pretty sure. What's my subscriber count up to right now? Yep, I'm at 254 subscribers. So, yeah, that's just, it is what it is, guys. It really is. It is what it is. That's what it's going to be. But as time goes on, I see so much stuff. Just so much stuff. And I'm going to put this out there right now, guys. I really try and keep a good positive vibe going in here and stuff like that. But in a lot of ways, I'm a very angry person. Very angry. I don't mean like, man, I'm pissed off and I want to punch somebody. No, 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 no. Everything I talk about, I mean exactly that. All right. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the world and on the internet that just makes me angry. As it should. It's supposed to. That's what it's out there. Excuse me. There's so much rage bait and all that stuff on the internet. It is just irritating. And thing is, my voice has always been angry. Okay? However, I'm stuck in this conundrum. All right? And yeah, I'm about to bring up race stuff. So if you don't like it, get out now. Part of being a 6'4", 200-pound black man is that when you are angry, no one cares what you're angry about. They only focus on the fact that you're angry. And this tore me apart for a decade, so much so that I've gotten yet another wall to my complex PTSD, and a good amount of brain damage from jumping from one foot to another to another to another. It has sucked. Okay. And people, especially my middle class friends, are like, dude, if you're angry, nobody's going to tune in and all that other stuff. And I'm like, nobody's tuning in now. you know? But what finding your voice means, okay, is essentially finding the stuff that you're good at talking about and talking about it in ways that really resonate with people, or at least that people understand. That is the whole thing. You can call it style, you can call it delivery and stuff like that. Um, it takes a writer a while to find their voice, and a comedian a long time to find their voice. Um, if you guys ever wonder why certain actors keep playing the same type of parts all the time, part of it is because the movie industry is garbage, and the other part of it is because they found their voice. They found their style. Now, that doesn't mean that people are going to like um the voice that you have. But when a performer finds their voice, that is when their stuff becomes good. And when I say good, I mean good for the way that it does, or the way that they're putting it out there. One of my kind of sort of favorite bands from my youth is putting out a new album. And I remember when Pearl Jam first got Eddie Vedder, they didn't really have a voice. They needed a lead singer. And when they found Eddie, they're like, we never heard anybody that sings like that before. Oh my God, he's got his own sound. He came in with his own voice, most of it being or a goat doing an Elvis impression. Hear me spoken, spoken, oh, thank you very much. The whole time, it was there. But they found their voice. Dave Grohl took a while to find his voice after Nirvana regretfully split up, and he's doing fine. And again, when a person finds their voice, it doesn't mean you got to like it. There's a lot of stuff out there that is genuinely the performers or the writers, and I just don't like Tim Burton. Loved him when I was young, stopped loving him over time because his voice got boring to me. But it's still definitively Tim Burton. Or Sam Raimi. I love his directorial voice, and I have ever since Evil Dead Part 2. So, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. But when an artist, a writer, a performer, when they find their voice, that's really their thing. Now, I used to be known for my legendary angry rants. So I've got a lot of practice about those. Is that my voice? I don't know. But the stuff that I talk about and the stuff that I'm good at talking about, I've been avoiding because I've been afraid of being hate rated or swatted or any of that stuff. I didn't want the smoke, you know? Hey, what's going on, Knights of G? So that's a whole thing. Now, if you guys are out there, writers, GMs, all that stuff, there are certain things that you're good at and certain things that you fall back on. Okay. It really is about finding your voice. And some of your players will like it, some of it will not, but that's fine. They would, as long as you put out the best stuff that you can in your own voice, you're cool. Now, the number one place that voices are talked about is in writing classes. Okay. I'm going to bring up my least favorite famous writer because I was right. Okay. The guy sucks. And his work ain't that great either, being Joss Whedon. Okay. I was an adult in the 90s and the early 2000s at the height of the Buffy the Vampire thing and the Firefly thing. And I'm going to put this out there. I like Firefly. Okay. I like the cast. I like some of the camera effects. I hate the dialogue. Okay. I don't like Joss Whedon's voice. I never, ever have, because his voice is reflected in every single character and plot that he ever writes. I mean, forget the fact that his voice is tailored to write Scooby-Doo, because that's all he ever does. But one of my favorite old video game reviewers, Yahtzee, shouts out to Zero Punctuation. Came up with the test, and he put in words that I didn't have at the time. My problem, and this comes back. This isn't just me dogging on Joss Whedon, okay? But he gave the best exercise for finding character voices, which is take your favorite line from any Joss Whedon character in any of Joss Whedon's properties. Imagine, okay, do you have that? Okay, just think about your favorite line. Don't type it, all right? But just think about it. Now, imagine any other character saying it and ask yourself the question, does that sound out of place? Or does your favorite line flow out of the mouth of any character in the exact same way? And with Joss, yeah, that's what it is. None of his characters have voice because everybody is him. Okay. Now since I'm an online presenter, um, what is my voice? I mean, I love being silly. I love, I love being silly. I'm good at being angry, and deep down in places I talk about at parties and people go, "Okay, dude. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah, somebody is calling me over here." Um I want folks to get along and I want everybody to have fun and be happy. Seriously. That's what I want. Um that is okay, yeah. Yeah, seriously, picturing him. Yeah. Again. I'm not even going to comment on that, Neon, but I love that you're busy today. um you know, the message I want to put out with this channel is that we love being nerds. Okay, we love it. I love being a nerd. I'm not ashamed of being a nerd. Um, I love games. I love comics. I love movies, and you guys love that stuff too. All right, but there is some stuff about the world that I'm really upset about right now, and I mean seriously upset. The number one thing I'm upset about with the world is that I guess it was because of how America changed in the 1980s, but we as Americans go through some severe mental gymnastics to not be empathetic. You know, that that gets under my skin and it makes me so angry. Um I saw a meme a little earlier today that kind of sums up the stuff that I'm mad about. Let me see if I can find it. I should have saved it. I don't spend a lot of time on social media anymore, specifically because of that. Because yeah, I'm not sure if I saw it on Facebook or Instagram, but essentially, it was a dude. Um, it was a 4 panel little short comic, and the first panel was, "Oh my God, I just got diagnosed with cancer." Yeah, I know, right? Let's keep this on a really high positive note. And on the second one, the second panel was the guy going, "I'm in treatment for cancer." And the third panel, or no, the second panel was, "I beat cancer," and he's looking great. And the third panel was the same guy saying, "Oh, if they come up with a cure for cancer now, I'm gonna be pissed." And the fourth panel, okay, so panel one, "Oh my God, I have cancer." Panel two, "Oh my God, I beat cancer." Third panel, "If they come up with a cure for cancer, I'm gonna be pissed." And the fourth panel, "This comic is about student loan forgiveness." And I said, you know what? Yeah, that's about it. That right there really, really, really sums it up. Um, when I spend time looking at social media, and like I said, I don't participate in social media as a contributor very much now, because I get tired of smoke for stupid things. I really do. However, when I saw that, I'm like, dude, I want to grab this and I want to freaking forward it to everybody I know. But since I know so many people from so many walks of life, I didn't want to risk the replies that I would get. Okay. Um so yeah, I mean it's a really big thing. Now, with my voice, I'm gonna tell you real quick, yeah, my voice seriously looks at things and says, yeah, that's pretty much what the world is like right now. And I despise it. I really do. I despise it. It makes me so angry. Okay. And I'll tell you guys why. I will be flat out honest as to why it makes me so angry. Um, Nobody, not a single person, can actually succeed in life by themselves if they want to live to be over 30. Okay, it's that simple. Um, Now I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more back history about me. Y'all know about my gaming background and stuff like that. But one of my really, really, really big difficulties growing up was that I was more Generation X than most Generation X in the sense of I was always abandoned when it came to going through hardships. Okay. My mom couldn't be there to help me through the hardest stuff that I went through, and my siblings wouldn't be there. Except for my sister and my younger brother, we're okay. But when it came to the hard stuff I was going to, I was just on my own. When it came to figuring out basic life skills, I was on my own. And even beyond that, my biggest antagonist, the dude I'm having troubles with to this day, was always doing his absolute best to keep his boot on my neck, sometimes literally. Okay? So, my idea of people, and sorry, this is getting a little this is getting a little tough, all right? But that was always that was me growing up, and it was terrible. Okay, it was just plain horrible. There's a lot of stuff I never learned. Okay, and I mean that, just a lot of things that I never learned how to do, a lot of social things that I never had context for. And by the time I grew up, I was always being punished for some behaviors that I never knew was terrible. Okay. Um, so I understand when people get a little upset um, about what they've been through. I'm not gonna lie, I've been through hell. Okay. I have literally tried to unalive myself lots of times. And I'm just being real with you guys. It was when I finally found comic friends and gaming groups that I was able to be a social animal, like humans are designed to be. Okay, we're herd animals. We're not alphas and betas and stuff. No, no, no. That's all BS. Okay, we're not pack animals. We're herd animals. My best friend illustrates this point by asking one question. When was the last time you saw a pack of wolves stampede? Okay? Yet people riot all the time. So yeah, I mean that's all the proof I need to see that we are herd animals. And finding my tribe, my herd, my conglomeration of people has always been difficult because there's always been one reason to keep me away. And I make it clear that in a lot of spaces I feel more tolerated than I am welcome. Okay? So there's a lot of unhealed stuff in here. And I use that to find empathy for the people that are out there. Okay? I know that hurt people hurt people. All right? You guys were to ever meet my biological family, you would know how I know that hurt people hurt people. But just for any sort of reference, watch The Color Purple. That's pretty much the culture of my immediate family. So anyway, given all that stuff, I have been told since I started this channel that a lot of parts about my voice, and I don't mean the the way that my voice sounds, but a lot of the stuff that I talk about is going to be unpopular and I may not succeed and all that other stuff. And it has been a major, 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 major source of frustration for me. But the biggest thing that has been a major source of frustration for me, okay, and I mean this, is how quickly the United States, people in the United States, and specifically people in big cities, are so quick to write off other people's pain. Okay? That makes me so angry because in my adult life, 90% of the cries for help I've gotten is, yeah, I know people are mean to you. All right? Imagine going to an emergency room and having a doctor say that to you. Yeah, you're bleeding, whatever. You know? And the fact of the matter is, I've seen that. And it's ugly. But too many people here in the United States do that. And it pisses me off in a serious and extreme way. Okay? It really does. Because the whole idea, like, I hear so many phrases that go through, so many phrases that get said by people that I'm calling garbage now. And if you consider yourself my friend and you've said this to me, okay, if you don't want to be friends anymore, bye. But the whole idea of, well, it's not my fault, or, well, you played some part in it. You know what? Potty mouth language alert in 3, 2, 1. Fuck you. Okay? The whole idea of the entire idea that you have to be 100% responsible for someone else's suffering in order to say, man, that person's hurting and that really sucks, is psychotic. Okay? It is psychotic. It is mean. It is abusive. It's narcissistic, and it literally, okay, is proof that you are a terrible person and you need to be better. No, it's not your fault that someone else is suffering. But does it have to be for you to empathize? You know, does it have to be for you not to be mean to them? You know, well, I didn't break his leg. Great, but do you have to spit on him? You know, is the only way that you would call an ambulance for somebody that got hit is if you're the one that hit them? I mean, seriously. Ugh. Pisses me off. And yeah, I am angry, and this is the type of stuff I'm angry about. All right, right now, on April 22nd, 2024, we live in a fucking society where 80% of the people here are either in debt or one theft away from their entire life spiraling out of control. And what do we get? Well, that person should have lived in a better neighborhood. It's not my fault that their catalytic converter got stolen and it cost $2,000 to replace it. Oh, well, that person should have made better choices when they were a teenager. It's not my fault that they're homeless. Oh, that person should have made better choices. It's not my fault that they have a disease, got laid off from their job. Oh, they should have gone to college and learned a regular skill. It's not my fault that nobody is fucking hiring for day jobs. What the hell? Seriously, what? You know, and how does this relate to finding your voice and all that stuff? I'm giving you guys an example of what I actually talk about to people when I'm not on the air. This is my actual voice. Okay? Seriously. It is boggling to my mind. Okay? Now y'all know I'm on the spectrum and I'm cool with that. That diagnosis did a whole lot of help, don't get me wrong. But I spent my entire childhood getting the shit kicked out of me for telling lies. And now I'm an adult and I'm honest with people. And that makes me a pariah. What the hell kind of paradox have we created, y'all? Seriously. I mean, seriously. You know, you have to tell the right lies at the right time to the right people in the right way. Ah! Seriously. Come on. You know, I see far too many people. And again, um, I saw a thing pop up on my TikTok about someone actually giving the origin of minimum wage. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt, possibly the best president we've ever had in the history of this godforsaken rock, actually created it because, in his words, no person that works every day should ever have to worry about living a good life, feeding their family, and doing something decent on their weekends. That's what minimum wage was created for. Okay? And that stopped being the case in the 1980s, and now we're pushing this crap about how minimum wage is for teenagers to get work experience. Shut the fuck up and stop advocating for child labor. Okay? Yeah, in my lifetime, minimum wage went from something that you could live on, the minimum amount that it took to live, to the minimum amount a job could legally pay somebody. You know, regardless of how much it takes to live. And people defend so many horrible things. Horrible things. For what? You know, that's the part that blows my mind. They're in debt. Their bodies are falling apart. They've had to have surgeries on their rotator cuffs and get freaking pins and stuff put in their knees because a lifetime of drywalling has beaten their body down because they're trying to do better for their families. And when it comes to their very families saying it should be easier, they go, what? I'm doing just fine. I beat cancer, so there shouldn't be a cure. You know? And how does this relate to the stuff we normally talk about, you ask? Why do you think I write stories? Why do you think I run games? Why do you think I love comics? Okay? What kind of a Superman comic would it be if Superman said, it's not my fault that building fell on you? It's not my fault that aliens are invading the planet. If Batman said, you should have made better choices than to walk down that alley. Or you should have gone to college and had a better major, then you wouldn't have to live in Gotham anyway. Think about that. You know, but that's what people talk about these days. That's what they sound like. You know, and it makes me angry. It really makes me angry. You know, this whole idea of if things are better now than they were when I was young, it shouldn't be. You know, seriously? Manager at the place I developed a disability at said when I told him I needed a break since my hands were hurting, a Mexican wouldn't complain about that. And see, here's the thing. When I brought up The Color Purple, I brought that up for a reason. Okay, that movie is set what my family calls 15 minutes out of slavery. All right, and the matriarch of my family growing up essentially was a contemporary of every character in that story. Okay, so I grew up with tales and memories of that kind of stuff when I was growing up. Okay. Um and that is really an important thing. Hang on, that's still a weird metric to measure things by. Yeah, right? Um and I've watched how this place went from the land of opportunity to the land of worry more about your boss and your company than about your family or your own health. you know. And what do? We keep defending, like as a whole, as a country, we keep defending the systems that are in place that uphold this and the actual people and organizations that perpetuate it. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, like, you know, people who fight against universal health care. I'm sorry. I don't think anybody deserves to die from something that can be prevented. Um, Insulin is like $3 to $5 everywhere on Earth except for here, where it's $300. Hell, an EpiPen, okay, something that you'll need in the moment to keep you from dying, costs almost as much as rent in a studio apartment. And minimum wage doesn't cover rent anywhere in the country. I mean, seriously, folks. This is messed up. Things are messed up. Okay? And let's see. One reason a lot of black folks don't want to see it. A lot of black family members have lived that version of that too much trauma. Exactly, Knights of G. Exactly. Like I said, the women in my family were contemporaries of the characters from The Color Purple. And growing up, Roots was not allowed to be played in my house. Okay, it just wasn't. Mm. You know, so I get mad about that stuff. I get mad about that stuff for real. Um, and the place that it affects me, that isn't my everyday paycheck and all that other stuff, like my interactions with people, I talk about my experience with gaming. Okay. For a major reason. And we'll get into that after this commercial. All right. Yeah, I needed a minute. I so needed a minute. Cause yeah, I got hot. Just you know. Um but yeah, cause this kind of stuff, it's real, you know. Um it's real and things are messed up. You know, they really are. Um Now, what do you? Let's see here. We got Neon is saying, "I'll try to remember to send the song "Small Circle of Friends" by Phil Ox. It's about the ability to ignore evil happening around you since you don't want to be a buzzkill, and how stopping the injustice only matters to a small circle of friends you don't know anyway." No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, that's a little down. I'm not really down with that. You know, it's funny when I go on rants like that, the thought in my head is I'm either going to lose all my subscribers or go viral. It's one of the two. Cuz yeah. Let's see here. Nights. One reason why a lot of black folks didn't want to see it is a lot of people have family members that lived a version of that too. Yeah, way too much trauma. Even worse, our taxes paid for most of those advancements, so our investments aren't being paid back. Also true. Also true. um okay. So, Patreon sponsored segment time. Monday, I commented on The Neverending Story, and I love that movie, but I commented on something else. Okay. This whole idea of women custodies within 40K. Okay. And my deck are in the dark, and that's what I'm calling all of my Patreon sponsors, unless they want me specifically to say their name, because I don't want them getting attacked or anything like that. Brought up a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a segment on it. And that should work. All right. So we're going to go back and we're going to talk about this custodies thing. So here's the thing. All right. ever, like, for the past 4 days since I talked about that stuff, my social media feed and my YouTube feed and a lot of people's feeds have just been flooded, flooded with so many videos about woke this, woke that, GW attack stuff. And I'm like, I can't believe I have to say this stuff. I really can't. I just can't. I can't do it. Now, shouts out to one of my favorite 40K channels, Eons of Battle. Um, he pointed out this morning because he releases videos on my same streaming schedule, except he's consistent about it. About the whole nonsense. And he's saying, sometimes it's just fun to complain. And I definitely get that. But see, when it comes to this whole thing, yeah, exactly. I know you're saying that satirically, but make a point that you're saying that satirically, Neon. Um, I'm going to put this out there because I'm sick of it and I'm sick of people coming to me with it. Okay. So I listen to Lead Belly, the man who coined the phrase woke, as in woke, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open because you never know who's out to get you. That's what it means. All right. So there is that. Okay. But so here's the thing. All right. I've seen so many bad faith arguments that only come up in the face of people being included in places that I can't keep quiet about it anymore. Okay? I really can't. I can't keep quiet about the bad faith stuff that I've heard. Okay? Um and this is where it comes from. Now, number 1. Number 1. Okay? These complaints are the loudest and most toxic when it comes to any sort of change that includes people that have been pushed out for a long time. Okay? That's thing 1. That's seriously thing 1. Okay? Now, I've told you guys story after story about how when I went in to a nerd space, be it RPGs, video games, card games, miniatures games, Shanai circles, Ren Fair, or anything like that, I was always treated differently and a little bit worse than the regular people that were there. Okay? Back in the late 90s, I don't know if they still do it. Back in the late 90s up to the mid 2000s, nerds, dorks, geeks, spazzes, and whatever else you want to call them, loved playing swords with Japanese shinai. Those are the bamboo practice katanas that they use in kendo. All right. And I've been a martial artist all my life. Okay. You wouldn't know it by how little I can stretch, but yeah. And whenever I was in a Shanai circle and I was the chip in said cookie, I noticed how much harder people swung at me than they swung at anyone else. All right. They never outright dropped an N-bomb, but they would baseball bat swing those things at my head. You know. They couldn't outright say you're not welcomed here. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, all right? With 40K, every technicality was pulled to push me out of that store. when I said back in 2003, fuck this game, I'm not playing. A friend of mine was straight up told that girls don't play 40K. Just straight up. Girls don't do that, although she was a girl and wanted to learn how to play. All right? That was what it was. And I can tell you story after story after story. Okay? And yeah, I like the lore, I like the canon, I like all this other stuff. But the company did a retcon. And here's the thing, all right? Bad actors. I don't care if they're racist, sexist, anti-black, anti-LGBTQ, transphobic, ableist. I don't care what they are. Okay? They are clever and sneaky little monsters. Well, Solar, what do you mean by that? It's simple. All right? Lee Atwater said something a long time ago about how you can't drop the N-bomb, that hurts you. So you just got to get more and more abstract. You got to say things like forced busing, welfare, zoning restrictions, and your economy, stuff like that. And then you're passing all these laws or making all these rules that hurt black people more than anyone else. It hurts black people more than it hurts white people. This Lee Atwater was Nixon's strategic advisor, and he was also a political operative for Reagan, the first Bush, and Bill Clinton. Okay? This is one of the dudes that made the rules when I was a child and before a lot of you guys were born. And he straight out said, you can't do straight segregation. You got to be abstract about it. That's the way to get away with it. He said it. He said it. And the way that this tends to manifest in this day and age, okay, is the same way with the same stuff. All right? Everybody talks about, oh, this is woke, that's woke, that's woke. But let's take a look at what they're talking about, okay? Because what they're saying is bad enough, but who's saying it is really on my nerves. All right? So, and again, this is a sponsored segment. But no. Actually, everyone that was decent near Nixon was either assassinated or fired. That's not opinion. Check your history books. But anyway, like I was saying, with this 40K thing, people are saying the same stuff that they have been saying for the past 5 or 6 years. We just don't like the way they did it. It's just forced. Let's see, what are some of the other stuff they say? Feel free to put some of the stuff they write in there. Oh, the people that do like it, well, you're just a tourist, Let's see. Oh, it's pandering. Well, we wouldn't have minded if they did it well, But see, here's the thing. When the Necrons were turned into the Tomb Kings and weren't just chaotic robots, they didn't react so viscerally. When the Primaris came out, they didn't react so viscerally. Okay? No, they didn't. They straight up didn't. All right? And I'm saying this about 40K, but it's bigger. Okay? Because I see it all over the place. All right? I'm going to pull up something. Yeah, I'm going to pull up something real quick because people's memory is short. Okay? But people's memory is short, and I just cannot stand. I cannot stand the crap that folks pull. Okay? I can't. Because here's the thing. When they speak up it's always, and I mean this, they always speak up in particular moments. Okay. And at this moment, I'm going to show y'all one of the moments that I've seen where they spoke up and they spoke up loudly. Okay. So, yeah, let's take a look at that. Do, 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 do. Right there. Okay. I don't know if y'all remember, that was the first, the very, very, very first image that we saw of the follow-up trilogy. We had no idea what the movie was going to be about. We had no context for anything. We just heard, oh my God, they're doing another Star Wars movie. Let's hope it's better than the prequels. And the very first image we saw was this one. All right. And people lost their damn minds. Oh no, a stormtrooper can't be black. Blah, 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 blah. Had no idea the context. This was the very first image of the first teaser of the first sequel movie. Okay, the movie was still a year out and still. All right. What else have we seen? When a franchise that used to star a dude starts featuring a woman. Oh no, it's an agenda. And see, the terms agenda, forced, all this other stuff that they come down, you know, whether or not they are bigoted, okay? If they're not bigoted, they're saying the same stuff that the bigots do. All right? Now, I had a talk with my surrogate brother and give some major shouts out to Mad Wookie, y'all. Major shouts out to Mad Wookie, who's currently in the hospital. So if you're the praying type, go ahead and do that. Because he was one of the people that was on that, and he and I went rounds. We went rounds. Okay? And he finally gave me a cogent argument as to what he wanted from the trilogy. Now, he wasn't on that BS when it came to this shot. Okay, he wasn't. He's like, okay, dude, hey, Stormtrooper, cool. Let's see what happens. You know, he was all there. He hated the movies. And when he went on, I'm like, okay, let's talk. And he opened up with all those Fox News talking points. And I argued with him. And then he's like, there are the longtime fans that have kept the franchise up and going. And when they said they're bringing back the original cast, we got a cranky, angry Luke Skywalker, and we didn't see what took him to that. We never got a shot of Han, Leia, Chewie, 3PO, R2, and Luke on screen. Even had it been like an award ceremony, like at the end of A New Hope, that would have been cool. But we never saw three of them on screen at the same time. Sadly, Carrie Fisher died, so they couldn't do a whole lot with her. But they killed Luke in an anticlimactic way. They killed Han in a dumb way, and they didn't give us a good villain. I'm like, okay, you just made the most cogent point about why these movies sucked that I ever heard. I'm like, open with that. Because that's a real conversation. All right? And you know, it's all over the place. And yeah, Knights, yeah, you're thank you, Neon, with the John Boyega was removed from the Chinese posters. All right? Oh yeah, sorry. Spoilers, yes. Yeah, seriously. When it comes down to that kind of stuff, all right? That was a real conversation from somebody that was ambivalent about the movie to someone who was avidly disliking of the movie, but he was able to illustrate his point. But here's the thing, y'all. Okay? Those aren't the conversations that are happening. What are happening are a bunch of bad faith arguments. Well, I don't like the way they do it. They did it. Okay, so how should they have done it? tourist. That's what people are doing. And when that terrible show, and I'm not saying that because I'm a ringer, I'm saying that because the show just wasn't put together well. And Amazon can do better and has done better. But when the Lord of the Rings show came out, when the Lord of the Rings show came out, people were like, "Oh God, you should." And then I got Tolkien didn't write any black dwarves, and when they cast a black chick as the Little Mermaid, over and over and over and over, and I'm like, "Look, guys, this is fantasy." One, Tolkien didn't write white dwarves; he just wrote dwarves. They're dwarves. There is not one page, not a singular page in the Silmarillion, the Lost Tales, the Lord of the Rings, or the Hobbit that talked about the hue of a dwarf's skin. So, but when they cast a black woman, oh my God, Tolkien is blah, 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 blah. He'll be turning over in his grave because there are no black dwarves. And now GW is saying that there have always been woman custodies. Now, I talked about GW stance with all that stuff when I did the thing. It's the last video I did on Wednesday. I talked about that crap for a whole hour. But here's the too long didn't watch, okay? It's their company, their property, and they can say anything. But I've only been into Games Workshop stuff, specifically 40K, for about 2 years now. Just 2 years, all right? I haven't been there since the beginning. I am that old. But they always put the stores and all that stuff in places that I got harassed by police for going. And when I finally got into one of those stores, nobody helped me. Nobody told me what they were doing. I was essentially cast out. I was an outcast, and not in the hey-ya kind of way. Don't get me wrong, though. I rocked with Andre 3000. But y'all know it is my job to geek out on stuff. And let's see. They've changed the Gene Stealer cults. They completely retconned the Necrons. They're bringing Primarchs back to life. They undo their stuff all the time. And people online about this, yeah, you know what? There were always female custodians out there. Are going, they're lying, they're gaslighting, there's this, there's that, there's this. And I'm like, okay, let me put this out there, you guys. It's their property. Straight up. It's theirs. And they go where the money is. When Rogue Trader first came out, there were girl Space Marines, 2 of them. The models didn't sell, so they stopped making them. And then that one writer came along and retconned women out of Space Marines. And this is what my patron wanted me to talk about. When Games Workshop retcons something out, when they put something in Legends, when they say this set doesn't work anymore, there's some complaining, but not to this level. But whenever a property, a nerd property, changes the rules that includes people that weren't there before, then it's a hell-worthy trespass. All right? And I don't care if in your heart of hearts you're not bigoted and all that stuff. The real question that you need to be asking yourself, okay? Seriously asking yourself is, one, what's wrong with pandering? What's wrong with a company that's out there trying to take your money, pandering to people whose money they don't have yet? What is the big deal with that? Why does it offend you so much? Second, okay, if these people aren't real fans, if they haven't been there for all this time, why not? What has kept them out and keeps you in? Okay? I'm challenging people to really ask those questions of themselves. All right? Now, y'all know, as angry as I am, I'm a really compassionate person. And I don't mean that in the same way that bad actors say, I'm a really good person. No, 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 no. Okay? I will tell you, over the weekend, I racked my brain over this. And I get it. Okay? I get that being a gamer, tabletop or video game, being into RPGs, card games, nerd fantasy novels and storytelling and stuff like that. I get that we get involved in that because we rarely had somewhere else to go. Okay? I get it. All right? When I was growing up in the 80s, we had these things called jocks, you know, who beat the crap out of us for reading because they were on the sports teams and we weren't athletic. You know, real facts, y'all. I grew up in the hood. Okay, I grew up in the hood wanting to be nice to people and wanting to go to college for science, not football, not basketball. I wasn't banging, and I didn't like solving problems with violence. Y'all know how many fights I've gotten into? How many times I've been jumped? You know, and then when I moved into nerd spaces, oh my God. You know, I have gotten the wedgies and the Melvins. I have gotten the crap kicked out of me. Matter of fact, when I transferred out of one high school and got into the busing program, a week later, a dude with hair just like mine had the crap kicked out of him and his head shaved for having long hair at my home school, i.e. the school I would have been going to had I not been on the bus program. Okay? And I get what happens when the people that do that go into the spaces that we use as refuge. Okay, I get it. I completely understand the idea of this is the last place I have to go and I don't want it taken from me. I do. I understand that. But guess what? Get the fuck over yourselves because you're not the only one out there that likes this stuff. Okay? I'm sorry to tell you. There was a study done. There's a study done every year as to where most games are played. Okay? Real talk. Okay? Most games are not played at game stores or in tournaments. They're played at people's houses. That is, like, seriously. As of 2023, 95% of games are played in someone's home. That means every Friday Night Magic, every Adventurers League, every Warhammer, Crisis Protocol, X-Wing, Hero Clicks, every tournament that you go to is 5%. 5. A nickel out of a dollar. 5% of the players who actually play games compared to the money that's sold. That's how many people play at a third space, like a game store or like a club. Okay? Most of the games are being played in people's houses. What does that mean? Okay? That means if you don't like what the company does, you don't have to do it at home. Nobody's going to kick your door down and take your figures. Okay? 2. This is a big one. All of these BS arguments about how we don't like the way that they did it. Okay, cool. That's fine. What do you want them to do? Present a better option instead of saying they sold out or they're bowing down to their corporate masters. Bitches, Games Workshop has been screwing your wallet for 20 years. I have told people the major reason that none of the game stores I worked at sold GW stuff is because GW, the Games Workshop as a corporation, allow smaller mom and pop, small business, independent game stores to build their community. And then once those game stores start selling a bunch of GW shops, they open up a store within a mile and tank the mom and pop stores. Okay? Facts. That is what they were doing all throughout the 2000s. Okay? But you see the complaints about that? No. All right, do you see the complaints about the Primaris stuff? Well, they're getting rid of the firstborn. Maybe. But there isn't video after video after video after video after video about that. Yeah, it does sound like the Amazons. It's called hostile takeover. I mean, that, or, you got Games Workshop out there looking at the mom and pop store saying, if you have a milkshake and I have a straw, and I take my straw all the way across the mall, I drink your milkshake. That's Games Workshop, how it's always been. Okay? And y'all keep giving Games Workshop money and not complaining about it. In fact, these same chuckleheads defend Games Workshop when somebody like me says, I don't like that this costs so much. Well, they have the most detail. Oh, if you don't like it, don't play. The whole, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't even be playing in the first place. They are so quick to do that, but they lose their fucking minds when any company, Disney, Games Workshop, Star Wars, Fox, anytime they say, hey, it's your turn to non-kung fu Asian people, Black people, women, LGBTQ, the disabled. Oh, then it's pandering. Y'all need to get the crap out of this. Just shut up. Okay? Because whether or not it's what you feel in your heart, what you are doing is telling people that they don't belong when the company says, yeah, you know what? We're letting you do a thing. All right? Like, well, there are hardly any girls that play 40K. One, becoming more and more not true as every day passes. Okay? Second, more people buy stuff when they can see themselves in it as a main character or a position of power. Just like you. Just like you. All right? I've heard so many complaints. Yeah, the only featured black person in 40K is Vulcan. That's it. And is he of African descent? No, he's from a planet that's black. Okay? Seriously. Closest thing to a character that looks like me. And yeah, you can paint your figures to be whatever you want. But let's say I don't play the game. Let's say I read the books. Does my story not count? Do my experiences not deserve representation? And according to y'all, no, they don't. Only yours do. Yours is the only fantasy that works. And that's not cool. That is, God, now my phone is blowing up, probably saying, get out, you're being swatted. Oh man, looks like we got a question. But yeah, like real talk, it seems like whenever these properties focus on anyone else, these people go on a damn uproar, and I am sick of it. I am so tired. Oh man. Major shouts out, Mad Wookie. Yeah, because seriously, Tolkien didn't write any black dwarves. Stormtroopers can't be black. Where are the black people allowed? Where are the women allowed? And they say, well, they have so many, they've got women in the Guard. Yeah, but not in the Space Marines. And sorry to tell you this, Games Workshop made the mandate. Writers can't write any characters or canon that they haven't designed a model for. And back in the 80s, the girl models didn't sell. Where was the uproar from these chuckleheads when it was retconned in 5th edition that there are no girl space marines? Where was that? You know, like I said, they are quiet when stuff gets taken away from people that aren't rich white dudes. But they are all angry whenever anyone that isn't a rich white dude is put at the front. Then they say forced inclusion. Look, since this is a sponsored segment, I'm going to put this out there straight up for you guys, okay? Straight up, I'll tell you, because I want to love you forever. Oh. When I was growing up, I was shown that people of my skin color didn't deserve to be anything but green. Okay? Seriously. It was before Black Panther and Luke Cage, green. And Black Panther, you know, love the character, love the concept, but he ain't American. You know, he's further away from me than Peter Parker. All right? That's just where it goes. But where do we get to see ourselves? We get to see ourselves as criminals, as people that only speak African American vernacular English, and only in a way that upsets white people. You know, I mean, check out the movie Hollywood Shuffle from Robert Townsend that was made back in 1985. Okay? But we can't be the boss. You know, can't be the main character unless we're beating up a bunch of black people in order to get to the man. And that's only in blaxploitation. You know, and women, I'm sorry. I saw so many videos about how X-Men had gone woke because these chuckleheads couldn't jerk off to Rogue anymore. Number one, you can. Number two, X-Men being woke, X-Men being political, it's been that way since 1974. Or whenever Chris Claremont took over everything, really became that in the 1980s, guys. Okay? Seriously. You know, women deserve a place in our hobbies other than sexualized objects. Facts. All right? You know why? One, because they've got spendable money and Games Workshop sees that. They go, hey, if we put a woman in here, women will buy more of our stuff. And that is statistically proven. All right? Second, they're half of the world's population. Half. Which means if they do a little pandering to women in the same way that they've been pandering to rich white guys, then they'll at least get the money from rich white women. You know, that doubles the amount of money that they have the potential of making. Okay? And sorry to tell you, all right? And this is something that I've been meaning to put out there for a whole lot of people. I've been a lifelong fan of a lot of things, okay? And guess what? We become lifelong fans of things when we are children, okay? Yeah, that's just the whole thing. When we're children, we're brought on to be lifelong fans of stuff. In the words of George Carlin in the movie Dogma, hook them when they're young, people. Hook them when they're young. And the reason we become that is because, and Star Wars taught me this, we become these lifelong fans because if they, the people who make these things, can appeal to children, then the children will not shut the hell up about getting it until their parents get them for it. That's it. Okay? So everything is marketed to the 6 to 11 demographic. That is what they want. Okay? That's what they want. Now here's the thing. Guess what happens when you hit 12? You're already hooked. And if they lose your money at 12, that's okay. They've got your younger siblings. And when you're in your 30s, or in my case, late 40s, they got your kids and their grandkids. So guess what? You're a lifelong fan of Star Wars, 40K, Marvel, DC, G.I. Joe. They don't care about you. And they only did before you turned 12. It was never for you from that point on. Every change made to every game, not for you. Okay, you don't believe me? Why are there 5 editions of Dungeons and Dragons? Why didn't we just stick with Advanced D&D? Okay, why are there 10 editions of Warhammer 40K? They're about to drop the 4th edition of Age of Sigmar. Okay, they keep doing that, not for you, not for the longtime fans, but because they're trying to get more people in to spend as much money as you already have. And again, if you are complaining that the inclusion is forced, instead of complaining that people are forcing you to do something, and I will say this to you now because I've been saying it since affirmative fucking action. You don't like that it's forced. Why is it necessary to force it? Okay? That's the question. That is the really big question. Okay? Yeah, they're trying to appeal to a new market that isn't there and has never been there. Why hasn't it been there? Maybe because chuckleheads like you are scaring the maidens. You know? And this whole idea of, well, they're just not doing it the way that I want to. Don't matter. You don't have a say. You're not a stockholder, and you're not spending more money than that demographic will spend. Sorry. You know? And again, as I said a little earlier, yeah, I'm going to be a little harsh today. I'm going off because y'all are fighting real hard to keep other people out, to tell other people that they don't matter, that their stories aren't worth telling. And a lot of people are like, well, I wouldn't mind if they just told good stories. And I know a good amount of people that are like that, but here's the gig. All right, here's the thing. That argument would have credibility if y'all bitched and complained about 82% of the stuff out there that's for you. Facts. You know, there was a movie that came out 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago called Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron. And Charlize was really trying for a while to be an action star with Atomic Blonde, Fury Road, Aeon Flux, just looking for her way in to be an action star. All right. And the studios and stuff didn't pump it. They didn't do a whole lot of stuff. I mean, that it was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing. But you know what? I'm just going to take one decade, one singular decade as an example. Ready? Okay, ready? Running Scared, Delta Force, everything from Jean-Claude Van Damme, everything from Steven Seagal, okay? Stone Cold with Brian Boswick, 90% of anything starring Lance Henriksen, all right? And I love Lance, but mostly anything where he is the main character. All of that stuff was bad quality, and people don't rail against it. And this is the point that I'm coming to, okay? When white dudes in America do bad quality, you might get a few complaints, but you don't get campaigns. All right, you don't get video after video after video after video. You don't get accusations of woke and name calling and all that stuff when stuff starring white males are terrible. Okay, if you don't believe me, look at 90% of every sitcom and 93% of every sitcom on the Disney Channel. You know, stars a white dude, yeah, give it a shot. You know, and if it doesn't do well, that's okay. We'll find a property to fit him in. Oh, fucking people. But when something is featured with someone that isn't a white dude, all these people bitch and complain. And here's the thing, y'all. This is the part that I'm always trying to get through people's heads. Again, the reason that this is a sponsored episode. When it comes to that, when it comes to what they're complaining about, we don't need it. Blah, blah, blah. Right? These are coming from people that have always had a place where they were welcomed more than they were tolerated. Okay? The moment one person tells them no, they are ready to campaign. They're ready to go to war. They're ready to boycott companies and all this stuff. Hell, they're ready to do that when somebody that's told no all the time finally gets told yes. Think about that. Okay? Seriously think about it. Girls have been pushed out of these hobbies for decades. Decades. Okay? There have been so many papers written about the chainmail bikini. And let's not even talk about fucking Gamergate. Okay? There are way too many instances of people who aren't welcomed finally being let in, and the people that are out there are saying you don't belong here, or why are they being let in? Seriously. You know, and if y'all haven't seen that before, take a look now. All right, seriously, take a look. Yeah, well, they weren't here and complaining before. No, y'all kept kicking us out. Y'all kept passive aggressively enforcing rules on us that you didn't enforce on everyone else. Y'all kept swinging at us harder than you swung at your friends. And now the company, the teacher, the ref is saying they have a right to be here just as much as you do. And what do? Let's boycott. You know what it sounds like? Sounds like those times in the 50s where black people went into public pools and angry white dudes would pour acid in the pools and temper tantrums. You know, they shouldn't be in the pool. You know, it sounds like freaking Strom Thurmond saying segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. And when people say, well, there are all girl sections of this, look, I'm going to challenge y'all to ask yourselves the question, why is that segregation so necessary? Why? You know, and I'm sorry to tell you guys, yeah. Well, it's like, well, the latest thing I've heard is that, well, they did the Sisters of Silence dirty. Maybe, you know, by saying that, yeah, you can make a woman custody model. You know, well, that just invalidates the Sisters of Silence. No, it doesn't. Because, again, this whole idea of all one group here and all one group there, you know, don't you see the problem with that? Well, they got the Sisters of Battle. Yeah, but the Sisters of Battles aren't Space Marines. They're not the poster boys of the franchise. You know, they are not what you think of when you think 40K. And it's not that women should be the poster people of a franchise, but when the poster people of the franchise are straight up written to say girls will never be this, what does that say? You know? And again, I got my butt kicked and all that stuff, and I'm always afraid that the cool kids will come in and push me out too. However, these people that will never, ever be put in a situation where they have nowhere to go, y'all need to back up just a little. Okay? Um the company says, "Hey, this game is for everybody." And even y'all say, "Well, this game is for everybody. Anybody can play." But then once people that aren't like you start wanting to play, y'all start giving crap. "Well, that's just part of the culture." You don't know these people. And sorry to tell you that, well, that's just the way we are, or that's just how this game is played. Try that anywhere else. Why don't you walk into a club full of black people and start talking that same crap? See how fast you get your ass kicked. But why? That's just how you are, right? You're taking the stuff personally. No, you're being mean. You're being mean. You're being rude. You're being exclusionary. All right? This is why I started this channel. I can't stand gatekeepers like this. Because, see, here's the thing. It's one thing to be a gatekeeper, or it's one thing to say, "Hey, you're welcomed in my space." It's another thing to say, "You're welcomed in my space, but in order to be welcome in my space, you are allowed where I tell you you're allowed." And that's what you guys are doing. Women can be soldiers, but they have to wear form-fitting armor that really shows off their curves and their boobs. And if not, then they get relegated to the weakest and power level faction in the entire game. Yes, I'm talking about the Astra Militarum or the Tau. But the poster boys, the things that you think about when you think about the game, nope, no women, never. Not you. When it comes to the Golden Warriors, who most people think are statues until they have to do stuff, no, not them. And see, here's the thing. Here's the really big thing. All right, this was the thing that got me mad. Okay? Talk about retcons. In 40K history, the Custodians dropped their armor and they ended up being a bunch of greased up people. Y'all know the figures, y'all know the models. But it was, we failed to protect the Emperor during the Horus Heresy, so we don't deserve this armor anymore. And then they retconned that to say only some did it, and others decided to stand vigil over his corpse. Y'all didn't start a campaign over that. Same faction, different retcon. That was fine. But now, and some of them were women. What? No, you're not being faithful to the property. Shut the fuck up. God. Again, as soon as they include people in power that you're not used to seeing, y'all want to stop everything. They can't get in the pool. Stop going, "There goes the neighborhood." Because guess what? You still can be a part of it. But if you're only part of it because these other people aren't, then you need to really take a look at yourself. Seriously. Okay? And I know, I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I'm not... I don't care what your character is like. But the behavior that you're exhibiting is problematic. The things you do, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you feel. Okay? But what you're doing right now is trying to push people out of the hobby that you love before they have a chance to feel about it the same way you do. That's what you're doing. You're acting just like those people that beat you up and threw you in your locker. And here's my question. Was it bad because it was bad, or was it bad because you couldn't do it? In fact, I hate bullies. I hate bullies and I don't like violence. Not because of the fact that the violence was done to me in times that I couldn't fight back, but because it hurt. And I don't want to cause the same pain I received because I didn't like feeling the way that I did. And I don't want to do that to anybody else. And I don't even think I'm that good of a person. But if you think that you are a good person, then why are you pushing this bad narrative? Why are you acting like the people that made you cry? Why are you performing the same actions of the same people that you don't want to be associated with, i.e., the bigots that are anti-woman, anti-black, anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, and anti-non-kung fu Asians? Why? Why are you doing the same things that they're doing? You know? If you really have a problem with the whole retcon or all that stuff, have your problem. But if you have a problem with pandering, then don't participate in capitalism. Sorry. Because every product, every advertisement is a level of pandering. Every single one. And I'm not mad about pandering. Again, if they're focusing on a group that hasn't been focused on before, good. Maybe somebody will like it and our community will grow larger and we'll have the opportunity to make more friends. But if you're saying on the surface you're not the type of person that I want to know, that's a you thing, bro. That is such a you thing. And yeah, guess what? Nobody asked for it, but how many things are out there that we have personally asked for? You know, I'm here in the United States. I know GW is a British company. All right? But wherever you live, if you're complaining about this, how's your economy? Are you happy with your life? Are you dating someone that you want to date? Are you making enough money? Is your life so good that all you have to do is complain about this? Because last I checked, we were sitting on the precipice of World War III, and you guys are complaining that your toy soldiers can now be girls? That's me saying grow up. This is going to be hell in the edit. This is seriously going to be hell in the edit. Let's see here. Knights of G. You know, yeah, they cleared the pool and bleached it when a black actress went to take a swim. Dorothy D. Yeah, exactly. You know? So, thank you very much to the Decker in the Dark that sponsored this segment. Hey, what's going on, Rodriguez, Sue, and Regress? Like I said, as far as my personal feelings go, my last point on this particular thing was that people are in an uproar about a leak. The book ain't even out yet. You know, is it a throwaway line? Is it to say what they're going to be producing over the next year, year and a half? Who knows? You know, is it pandering for the Amazon show? Let's pretend it is. If that's what they got to do to get the show made, do you not want the show made? Do you want the community and the stuff that we can consume to be lesser than? If you do, just say it. You know, that's the whole thing. If you really feel all this stuff, then just say the N word. Just say that you don't want women in this hobby unless they fit your version of sexualization. Just say it. Because being nice or talking around it and doing all this mental gymnastics, that's cowardly. Seriously, that's serious. If you guys use words like simp and woke, that means you think that you're an alpha or something like that, then be one and just say what you mean. You know, personally, the Custodians was the first faction that I chose because I like the gold, I like the bling. Okay? And in Age of Sigmar, Stormcast Eternals are not gender there, and they're still gold and blinged out. At least for now, they just cut half the line, you know. And again, there was some annoyance about them cutting out 2 entire factions from Age of Sigmar. There was no campaign. Same company, different action. But as soon as they said somebody that hasn't been included is finally here, y'all lose your damn minds. Look into that. Anyway, guys, I want to thank y'all for being here. All the people that are watching and listening. Knights of G, Lord Prettybeard, Neon Arlecchino. Y'all are killing it on this. Thank you so much for being here. And if y'all got any questions or comments, or you just want to say, dude, you were just wrong about this, then feel free to send me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All the stuff is right there. Do a quick screen capture, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to put up the donation tab one more time because I'm really hurting right now. And with, content like that, y'all can see why. But with all of that, I got to say thank you for being here. Thank you for dealing with me on this rant. And if anybody tells you, seriously speaking, if anybody tells you that you're not allowed in a hobby or you can't like the stuff you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disabilities, neurodiversities, or your budget, you can just tell them to take those cards and put them back in the deck. And real talk, what I want, Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, is I want for all you guys to have a good time, be happy, and make as many friends as possible. Seriously. Stand up for the little guys, use your power to help the people that can't help themselves, all that jazz. Not all heroes wear capes, much to my dismay. But yeah, seriously speaking, open the door, let some people in. You might learn something, you might make friends for life. We're all nerds, we're all dorks, so have fun with that. And if the cool kids want to come along, cool, let the cool kids come along too. Just because new people are coming in don't mean they're going to take over the place and kick us out. All right? But with all that, guys, I will see you guys Wednesday on the dark side of the room.